Welcome to Judicial Dollars and Cents, brought to you by Anders Virtual CFO Services team from all across the United States. I'm John Scott, and in each episode, we'll shine a light on the financial side of the legal world, turning law firm numbers into impact-driven stories. From taxes and profitability to practice growth and leadership, we sit down with law firm innovators who are shaping the future of the profession. Let's dive in, right here on Judicial Dollars and Cents. Hey, welcome back to Judicial Dollars and Cents, where the business of law meets the practice of law. I'm John Scott with Anders Virtual CFO Services for law firms, and each week we sit down with successful attorneys, legal innovators, and business leaders to explore what it really takes to build a thriving law firm. We go beyond the courtroom to discuss leadership, profitability, operations, marketing, technology, AI, and the strategies that help firms grow, scale, and create lasting value. Whether you're a managing partner or an emerging firm owner, or simply passionate about the future of the legal profession, our goal is to provide practical insights you can put to work immediately. Today, we are excited to welcome Eric Pross. Did I say that right, Eric?
It's Pros, but thanks for having me, John.
I apologize. I butchered myself up there. Eric is the founding partner of NextEra Legal, which is a modern business and real estate firm headquartered in San Diego, California. I think you have several offices as well. NextEra was founded with a mission to rethink the traditional law firm model by combining sophisticated legal counsel with responsive communication, streamlined processes, and technology-driven client service. Eric's path to becoming an attorney is unlike most. When he was very young, there was a tragedy, and his mother was the victim of a workplace shooting. During one of the most difficult times imaginable, his family struggled not only emotionally, but financially, only to hear attorney after attorney tell them their case was too difficult or unwinnable. That experience became a defining moment in his career, and I want to ask Eric to explain more about that. Eric, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Hey,
so longtime listeners know that I love origin stories, and I think you have a unique one. Take me back to your childhood and what drove you to create the firm you have.
Yeah, look, I mean, it stems out of a workplace shooting in Royal Oak in 1991. Unfortunately, my mom was one of four people killed during a post office shooting. And, you know, that left my father, a single father with two kids, which made it pretty tough. But he tried to find a legal team to go after the post office or anybody. There's a huge history of corruption that goes into this post office story that led to this. So it wasn't just out of nowhere. There was a lot of seeds being planted years and years before. But unfortunately, the big law firms in Michigan that he contacted said, nope, that's unwinnable. You can't sue. This is a loser of a case, so we're not going to take it. I didn't really learn that until I got older, because I was 4 when the incident happened. So I didn't learn it until I was my teens, late teens. And I don't know, something inside of me was like, well, I didn't figure out why they couldn't sue him, or why was it so difficult in their eyes to do that. The only way I could learn that was going to law school. So I went to law school to figure that out. I figured it out the first year. But then I got pulled in the direction of business, and a complex business and real estate transactions. Complete departure from the interest I went in with. But now I take that same mindset of not turning down the complex and messy matters. In fact, that's what my partner and I love the most. We love when people come to us with an absolute mess of a transaction or a mess of a legal function at a business, and we get to dive in and fix it. So it's a convoluted path to get there, but it all started with getting rejected by law firms when we were younger.
I love your passion for not saying I can't do it. There's got to be a way to get something done. And really, that's the beauty of the legal profession and the accounting profession. Anybody that's a consultant has the experience and has seen different ways to do things. There's not just if you work for a big Fortune 100 company or 1,000 company, there's their way of doing things. And if you work there for 30 or 40 years, that's the only way you know. But when you work as a consultant, as we do, you know that there's 10 ways to do a bank rec. So I love your passion for getting things done and saying it is possible. Okay. So tell me about your firm, NextEra, and tell me what it does, what it specializes in.
Yeah, so our firm, I mean, my partner and I, we've known each other for 4 years, 5 years now. We're introduced by a mutual friend of ours, one I went to law school with, one he grew up with. We were both doing very similar work. We're doing corporate and real estate transactional work. We're working with business owners on a regular basis. During our time of operating a law firm, we also operated businesses outside of it. And, the relationship started off with just me sending overflow work to him. I was bringing in more business that I could handle. The relationship grew more from there. And then we started toying with the idea of launching Next Air Legal in late 2023, early 2024. We took an entire year to plan the entire thing out. Really how we wanted to treat clients, how we want clients to see our firm. We wanted to discuss the client journey from beginning to end, to finding us, to going through other law firms, or maybe working with law firms, finding things they didn't like. And I think the big part of it that came together for both of us is we took all the things we didn't like working at a traditional law firm and kicked them out the door. We want nothing to do with them. We try not to do billable hour. We still have some clients that are on it, but we try not to do that. We don't do the long drawn out scheduling process or, calling 7 people to try to get your attorney. We respond quite promptly. And all of this led to us kind of really focusing on being fractional general counsel to businesses. We knew we wanted to work with business owners. We love working in the business environment, but my time operating a real estate development company with a couple other partners, I didn't like being treated as the client. It wasn't a good experience as the customer. So we were thinking, well, how can we avoid it? And what's the biggest issue our clients see? The number one issue our clients said was, I never know how much legal is going to cost. Talk to their CFOs. I never know how much legal is going to cost. It's the only one we can't predict month to month. Well, how do we solve that? We created a flat 3 fractional general counsel model. And that's really where most of our clients land. Sometimes there's a dating period before. We do some projects with the client, show how we interact, show the work that we do, and then they gradually move into our fractional GC model. And that's usually reserved for businesses doing at least $5 million or more, but it really embeds us in the business. So we actually sit there and build the entire legal department, not just be a reactive legal counsel like an outside GC would be. We're involved in decisions well before they're made, just when ideas are proposed. We're involved in new product launches. We're involved in every aspect that a traditional in-house attorney would be involved in, but on a part-time basis.
I love that fixed fee subscription model approach because it does a couple things. It tells the client exactly what they're going to spend. I'm sure there's some outs if there's, detailed litigation, or you could refer that out to someone else. And that's actually how we perform our virtual CFO services on a fractional basis in a subscription model. But the other thing that it does is it doesn't deter the client from calling you when they have a thought or question or an idea. Where in the hourly billing model, they don't want to call you because they know the clock is going to start.
Look, you stole the words out of my mouth. We just had a call this morning, and that was the biggest differentiator. So when someone's in our fractional model, it's a soft cap of hours because we have to put a cap there. So we're not doing 100 hours of work when they're paying for, maybe 10 hours of work. So there's a soft cap. But what's not included in that soft cap, or what doesn't go to that soft cap, is any communication under 10 to 12 minutes. If it's a quick phone call, hey, Eric, I got this contract. I see this red line from you. Are there any concerns? Nope, go ahead, sign it. Boom. That doesn't go to the soft cap. We want the business owners to feel like we're down the hall from them so they can come in, lean on the door frame. Hey, I had this question. Answer the question, off to the races, back to it. We don't want to sit there and put a 0.1 and a 0.2 into a bill. We don't want to look at it and be like, oh, well, we spent 10 minutes on a call with them. That goes against their soft cap. So we want that open door policy. We want to encourage them to come to us with everything. So then we're involved and we can avoid problems before they get to that point.
And you're really changing the way people think about the accounting and legal profession. And we say the same thing. Accountants typically are historical in nature, especially your tax guys. They tell you what happened, and then they tell you why it could have been different, and it could have been better if you had done this and called us in advance. But when you are integrated into their everyday issues, you can then proactively tell them what they should do so that there's a better outcome at the end.
Right. So, and that's why sorry, go ahead.
No. Well, I was going to ask if you have different tiers, and then I want to tease out a little bit. It sounds like you charge time, but you don't charge based on that time. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. And we do have tiers. So our fractional model is kind of broken into two parts. We can't really give an idea of the amount of hours or the work that needs to be done without doing a discovery phase. So we do a discovery phase, flat rate as well. Takes anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks. And that gives us all the information we need. We are talking with the entire C-suite. We're talking with sales. We're talking with the CFOs or the fractional CFOs. We're talking with HR. Every department, whether people recognize it or not, touches legal, or legal touches every department. So we need to talk to each one of them and figure out what's going on. At the end of that, we provide a legal strategic assessment, and that's broken into 3 parts. One is a kind of a red, yellow, green aspect, like, oh, we see some real issue here. Example of that could be we review the formation documents and there's someone on there that was bought out years ago, but where's the paperwork? How does that get tightened up? So that's a red. The next part of this would be a legal operations maturity scorecard. So we actually look at what's your contract lifecycle management platform look like? How are you saving docs? What's the process if a sales team gets a red line to a contract from the customer? How does it get to legal? What's the time it gets to legal? It gets pushed out. So we evaluate all that so we can create efficiencies through the legal process. And then the last part of it is a 90-day roadmap. So we take all the information we have from the interviews, the assessments, the documents, and we lay out the next 90 days of work. Now, it's not static. It can be fluid. We have clients that something comes up, we jump on that. But at least they know what we're working on for the first 90 days if they decide to retain us. And clients seem to like that. And if they don't want to go forward with the fractional model, they can take that and run with it however they want. It's theirs to do with what they want. Now, the tiers, we do have tiers ranging anywhere from $2,000 a month is our lowest tier. We have clients upwards of $15,000 plus a month. It just depends on how aggressive they want to get to accomplish their goals, also how big their business is, and how much they think they need legal to accomplish the goals that we've all discussed.
So really the pricing scale is partially based on revenue size and then the complexity of their issues?
Not really. I mean, revenue size, well, obviously, you're not going to have a $1 million business signing up for $15,000 a month. So really revenue size would only be kind of on their side. We have clients that are, doing over $300 million, but they are at our lower tier because they really just want us as their legal backstop. They don't need us on like a day-to-day basis. So I really wouldn't say revenue size. We give suggestions like, oh, if you're around here to here, then you'd fall here. But it's really based on what we learn there during that discovery phase. So for instance, if we have a client that's in one industry, but that industry is a natural segue to another, and they want to start segueing into that other industry, then that's going to involve more work than a client that's just like, I'm opening up one more location, same geographic location, just, a few miles down the road, and we're going to hire some more people. That's a different scale than moving into a different industry altogether. So it's a combination of everything. I wouldn't say revenue size is really a big determining factor on that.
You said a couple of things that really resonated with me. One, I'm glad you track time, because even though you don't charge based on time, you have to know how to job cost to see how your pricing is holding up versus the effort that goes out. And then the other thing I heard was you have a legal maturity model. And I think that's fantastic. We developed a financial maturity model several years ago, and we use that tool in a very similar way. They take the assessment, they self-grade, and then there's 5 areas of finance, and they may be rocking it in 1 or 2 of them, but needs help in the other 3. And so we spend the next 6 to 12 months trying to get them incrementally better in those areas. And it really helps align. And if you think about a company that wants to have a liquidity event, they want to sell or transition, the cleaner the books are, the cleaner the legal issues are, the more of a premium they can get for that business.
Absolutely. And that's why we work so well with you CFOs and fractional CFOs. We tend to think on the same wavelength. And in our opinion, the CFOs and the fractional CFOs should be the GCs and the fractional GCs' best friend, because we're really working towards the same aspect of it. And you nailed it. I mean, one of the biggest things we help with is when a client's like, I want to sell. When? Oh, like 3 or 4 years down the road. Okay, great. This gives us plenty of time to get the legal docs in place, because a lot of these companies haven't touched anything since formation. And there's a lot that's been going on. And, if a buyer comes in and they start looking at that legal data room and they're like, something's off here and we don't know what it is, that buyer's either leaving or that deal is being prolonged and the valuation's going down.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing is you're going to get a nice haircut on your price
Mhm.
if things are in disarray, if the books are bad, or if there's legal issues that haven't been addressed. Hey, I want to switch gears a little bit. How in your practice do you utilize AI?
Yeah, I mean, we use it across the board. Look, legal AI is really up and coming. So we use a platform called Spellbook for some down and dirty reviews, or we upload all of our contract playbooks to that platform, and it analyzes the contract as if we're sitting there and doing it. So it can give a first glance and really highlight real problems within minutes. And then obviously we go back, double check everything, dot all the I's, cross the T's. So that's one way. We've also started using Claude for a lot of our operational aspect. So on our back end, we use ClickUp to manage all of our matters and tasks and subtasks and where it gets assigned. And we use Claude Cowork and Teams to go ahead and auto update certain things, or to send out auto updates to our team like, hey, this one is overdue. Why hasn't this project been done? This needs to be focused on right now. So we have AI across the board. We also use we're a Google business, so we use Gemini as well, which just really helps locating certain things, even though our saving method is very uniform across the board. It's just a lot easier to go in there and type what you're looking for than to go ahead and click through everything. So we use AI literally across the board.
I chuckled a little bit when you referenced ClickUp, because we utilize that as our roadmap of getting things done. And I won't say I'm a power user of ClickUp. I should be better, but the rest of the team is very good at ClickUp. So if I were leaving Big Law and wanted to start a firm similar to yours, looking back at your few years of experience in this new firm, what are a couple of mistakes that you wish you had done differently?
Well, I think the first mistake was we didn't quite have our website launched the way we wanted to. When we got it off the ground, we were missing some vital pieces to become completely visible. That has since been fixed. So that would be number one. You know, I would have instituted ClickUp a little bit sooner, just so we had it on. We really just brought that on board probably in the last, well, maybe since December. And this one we couldn't change because the model didn't get released, but Claude, we would have integrated Claude a lot sooner to help with the ClickUp aspect and the operational side of things, instead of my partner and I spending very long nights on calls and text messages trying to figure out different operational things. But those would be the main things I would change. My partner, Jeff Monahan, and I, we both operated our own firms before. So we had a lot of things already in place. I had a lot of systems and processes. I'm a big system and process guy. So I had a lot of those in place that we could bring over. And like I said, we took a year to plan it. So we're lucky because technology was where it was when we launched. So we didn't have to go back and start doing things over. But I would say those three would be the mistakes that we would have fixed sooner.
So if I put you in let's say a mastermind group with managing partners from various firms bigger than you, what in 1 minute, what would you tell them that they should change their firm to embrace AI, to embrace fixed fee pricing? What advice would you give to 30 managing partners?
I mean, let's go with the fixed fee pricing. I think that's the easiest one to give advice on. Look at your old work that you've done. Like, look at how much time you spend on maybe a commercial lease review. Look at that over 15 to 20 matters. How much time did you spend on it? What's the average? That's how you can develop your flat fee. And that's what we did. That's why we keep track of the time, even though the client doesn't get the time bills, because we want to know, hey, is this still good, or are we spending way more time than we initially thought on it, or can we bring that price down because we're actually spending less time? So I would say track your KPIs, track everything to a T. That's due to my partner Jeff. He was like, I want to track every single thing so that we can analyze it and make improvements as we go along. So that would be the number one thing.
I can't tell you how many debates I've had with fixed fee attorneys that don't track time. And I'm like, how do you know your pricing's good? But they just, the reason they went to fixed fee is because they didn't want to track time. They didn't want to record time. And it's very frustrating because I think they're guessing at pricing.
Yeah, look, I guess there's another way around it. Would be you could do a very in-depth competitive analysis, but that means you're sitting through consults, or people are sitting through consults with your competitors. to get all the way up to the point to get the quote. To me, that's more time draining than just to track your time for. I mean, they probably have already been doing it. So if their time's already been tracked because they were doing a billable model, just go back and look at it. Simple as that. But yeah, look, we have friends that do flat fee models as well. They don't track their time, and more power to them. But we're just very data driven.
So you started in San Diego. You have 3 or 4 offices?
So we have 3 offices going on a 4th. So yes, my partner and I both originally licensed in California. So we have California and we have San Diego and Beverly Hills offices. We'll be opening up Orange County office here shortly. And then my partner got licensed in Florida recently. So we actually just launched our Miami office yesterday. So 4 offices as of now.
Now in Miami, is he near South Beach?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, I'm not sure exact on his location.
my favorite restaurant in the whole world in that area anyway is Joe Stone Crab. They have the best lobster bisque ever.
Okay, but good to know.
I digress. If you get out that way, go to Joe Stone Crab.
Okay.
Any plans for additional expansion, or how are you going to grow and scale this?
Yeah, we do. I actually have a pending bar application in Michigan. That's where my partner and I are from. So we'll probably do something in Detroit or the west side of Michigan. And then my wife is from Chicago. I love the city. We have a lot of connections there. So most likely Chicago, probably in the next year or so. How are we really growing this? We're bringing on of counsel contract attorneys that are in different locations. One main part of scaling that we're doing is we're looking for those solo firm owners that really love being lawyers, but hate everything else about it. They don't want to run the business. They don't want to do the admin. They don't want to do the systems and processes. We want those people to come, bring their book of business. Their percentage is going to be much higher than ours. We'll just run the back end and we'll be the team behind them to help if they need anything. So that's one method. And then we're also looking to connect with as many attorneys that are looking to retire in the next 4 to 5 years. And they don't have a succession plan. They don't have anyone to pass their practice on to, but they want their clients taken care of. We'd love to connect with them, bring them on board, show them our systems and processes, show them we can take care of their clients for a few years, and then negotiate a buyout when they go ahead and end up retiring. So those are the 3 main ways we're trying to scale this out.
So when you find these of counsel folks that just want to practice law, and you do all the back end office stuff, are you going to create an MSO or just do it through NextEra?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Yeah, no, that's exactly what we're probably going to end up doing, is setting up an MSO. We'll probably have a couple entities. We have some IP that we have. So we'll have that in one entity. And then, yes, we'll have an MSO handling everything but the legal work. That's the plan. I know some states are kind of putting a kibosh on that, but we'll figure it out. We've done it for other medical practices. We've established a number of those. And look, we actually set this firm up for an exit in mind. That was day one. Our plan was an exit. Our exit, we hope, will be at the time where private equity is allowed to own law firms. So we have been, chatting with our private equity people. Like, this is the way we're doing this. Is this something you'd want to buy? Yes, it is. Great. So every check along the way, we run by our PE people just to see, like, is this the structure you're looking for? Does this get the most dollar amount out of it? So that's our plan overall. So we'll probably have the MSO and then the law firm underneath it.
I love the creation with the exit in mind, because more and more businesses need to take that approach. Too often it's founder created it, gets older, and then is scrambling to look for an exit. But if you have that exit in mind upon creation, everything you do along the way can build value.
Right.
Let's take a look at a few rapid fire questions. Can you name one business book that every entrepreneur should read?
It's hard to narrow it down to one. I just read, the most recent one was The Science of Scaling. Loved it. That Gap and Gain, 10X is easier than 2X. Those books, I love the biographies. I'm sure you can't see it in the picture, but the Steve Jobs biography. But I would say Science of Scaling, one of my tops. And I just picked up Counterintuitive, so I'll be reading this one. Unconventional Principles for Success in Life and Business. So maybe I'll have another one for you in a couple of weeks.
That's great. Favorite AI tool today, most recent one?
Claude Teams. Love it. Love co-work. Love the skills.
What one KPI every business owner should monitor?
Ooh, you know, that's a tough one. Just one. I really like time from opening matter to closing matter, especially with transactional aspects. We can really time it out.
Yeah, and the better you can get at that, the more cash flow you can generate.
Mm-hmm.
Most underrated leadership quality?
Listening or setting the ego aside. Either one of those. I think those are the two most underrated ones.
All right, last rapid fire. What is one thing that every entrepreneur should stop doing immediately?
Scheduling their own meetings.
So how do
have
you
someone do
handle
it
that?
for you?
Okay.
We have an assistant. So if someone emails and says, "Hey, I'd like to meet. Here are my times," forward it, or my assistant's already looking in there and reading that email. And then she jumps in, schedules it. She might run it by me to make sure that the timing works right with what else is on the calendar. But other than an email to kick things off, I don't schedule them.
Right. And you're so right. You meant to schedule that meeting and then the phone rang or an email came in and you got sidetracked and it never happened. So I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, I'm going to be in San Diego later this fall for a conference. And I'm wondering if you had any food recommendations. I want something that's not touristy and off the beaten path. Don't really care about the cuisine. Just where's a great restaurant experience in San Diego?
Look, if you're looking for a good steak place that is not a tourist place, it's called Moe's in Mission Beach. It's small, it's quaint, it's got that old school steakhouse feel, but you are literally 25 steps from the beach. It is fantastic, but it's got that dark, really good drinks, good food. Get your reservation.
So sit with
Parking
your back
will be
to
tough.
the wall so you don't get shot.
Yep.
By
Yeah.
the mafia.
Yeah. The old school Chicago steakhouses. Yeah. It's really good. And they have, it's nice because it's got that old school feel, but it's also got the windows that open all the way up on one part of it. So you can also enjoy the breeze coming in from the beach. But like I said, the food, the service, the drinks, they're good.
Yeah, I've heard the weather's terrible in San Diego. So
awful. Yeah. If you like 70, if you don't like 72 and sunny, don't come around.
Hey, before we wrap up, Eric, what's the best way for folks to get a hold of you and learn about Next Era Legal?
Yeah, they can check out our website, nexteralegal.com, or you can just email me directly, eric@nexteralegal.com. That's the two best ways to figure out more about us.
Eric, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you all for joining us again. Thank you for tuning in to Judicial Dollars and Cents, where the business of law meets the practice of law. If you enjoyed today's conversation, please like, follow, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Better yet, share this episode with another law firm leader who could benefit from today's discussion. Thank you. Thanks for joining us on Judicial Dollars and Cents, presented by Anders Virtual CFO Services. If you found value in today's conversation, be sure to follow or subscribe wherever you get your podcast. To learn more about how Anders helps law firms strengthen their financial foundations and drive growth, visit anderscpa.com. Until next time, keep making smart decisions that make perfect sense.